predicting the rest of the college football season, telling you who will make the playoffs, who will miss it, and who will win it all. Let's get into it, starting in week 13. Now, I will be predicting every game. The only games I'm going to be talking about are the relevant games for playoff seeding. So if it's not a relevant game, I'm just going to give it to the home team and move on. I do think Alabama's going to win this game. I think Tennessee will keep their bleak playoff hopes alive. Georgia's going to keep their hopes alive. I think LSU can win this one. I think the Sooners keep their hopes alive. Texas needs to win out for a chance. And if they do win out, I think they probably will. Texas A&M, I don't think they're going to drop a game to an FCS team. Vanderbilt will definitely win that one. I think Nebraska gets it done. Actually, it's in a row. Any relevant games, I'm just going to give to the home team because it doesn't matter for playoff seeding. I think Washington will win there. Big game. USC loses, they're out of the playoffs. USC wins, they probably can make it, and I do think they will win that game. I believe in USC. Ohio State, they might get caught sleeping at the wheel and drop a game to Rutgers, but I'm not going to predict it. Not going to predict it. I think JMU can keep their hopes alive. That game doesn't matter. Georgia Tech needs it. Pitt is in a weird spot. If Pitt wins out, they make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to win out. I think Georgia Tech takes it. And Georgia Tech's got a big game against Georgia the next week. I think Miami wins it, keeps their hopes alive. Notre Dame, if they win out, they're in the playoffs. Whether or not people like it, it's up for discussion. BYU, I do think BYU will get that win. That game doesn't matter. I think Houston will win, but they don't have a chance. Utah, Utah will win. Utah, BYU, they're not serious contenders if we're being honest. If we're being totally honest, they're not serious contenders. Bunch of nonsense games here that don't really matter. We'll give it to UNLV. They're always frisky. San Diego State, we'll give them the win. And I think USF will get that. Old Dominion. A lot of teams that aren't fighting for much at this point. Feels like a weird one they'll drop on the road. Rice feels frisky. And we'll give Tulane that win. And on to week 14, big week. A lot of teams, if they win out, they can make the playoffs. I'm going to give it to Memphis here. That's a big game. If Navy wins out, maybe there's arguments that they can make the playoffs. Georgia Tech. Look, if Georgia Tech wins out, they're in the playoffs. I don't think they're going to win this game. Okay, that game doesn't matter. That game doesn't really matter either. Utah, if they win out, there's maybe a discussion. Alabama needs this one. If Alabama loses, they're probably out of the playoffs. I think they'll win it. Those are all irrelevant games. Another irrelevant game. Ole Miss, they're probably in regardless. I think they'll win this game, though. Even though if they lose, they're probably still in. The Sooners, LSU's a tough team. Just fired their coach. I don't think there's much fight left in them. Vanderbilt at Tennessee. Look, Tennessee is pretty much out of it. Now, if they win this game, it's big. I think Vanderbilt it needs this one. I think Vanderbilt is going to be more desperate. They're going to be more hungry. Another big SEC game. Texas A&M at Texas. Look, Texas needs this one. If they win out, there's a real... Now, they're a 3-loss team. Going to be similar to Tennessee, but a 3-loss Texas team, if they can beat undefeated Texas A&M, I think Texas is going to get the job done. I think Oregon wins. Now, if Washington wins, that gets interesting. I don't think they'd make the playoffs because they're not going to be an elite 3-loss team. Doesn't matter. I think USC wins. Doesn't matter. I think Michigan's going to win because Ohio State has nothing to play for. Regardless of if Ohio State wins or loses, they're still in the Big Ten game. So it doesn't even matter who. It's completely irrelevant for all. Now, Ohio State wants to win, but it doesn't matter. Because if Ohio State wins the Big Ten with one loss, they're going to be the 1 seed. So I mean, who cares if they win this game? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Indiana's going to win. And doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We'll give it to SMU. Doesn't really matter. Wake Forest. Miami at Pitt. You know, Pitt still wants to be in the ACC championship. I don't think they'll make it, but I guess they've got a road. And we'll give it to Houston. We'll give it to BYU. Keep their hopes alive. Texas Tech. Man, I don't really have a lot of hope in Texas Tech, but are they really going to lose to West Virginia? I doubt it. I doubt it. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter, doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Do we have any more real games this week with playoff implications? UNLV, I think San Diego State also gets the job done. JMU keeps their group of 5 hopes alive. USF, Tulane. And it doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Alrighty. Conference championship games. If you win, you're probably in for the ACC. Now, that's a probably because a 3-loss SMU team, are they really gonna make the playoffs? Because, you know, you're gonna take 5 winners. People just assume that meant the ACC, not the AAC, was in. Regardless, it's tough. I'm going to go SMU. I mean, I guess one of them's got to win, and I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. We're going to find out with this bracketology. And Big Ten. And, you know, I was wrong because Ohio State doesn't make it if they lose. I don't really understand why USC is in over Ohio State because Ohio State's a 1 loss. But regardless, I'm going to go. We'll go USC. You know, I'm a big believer in USC. They beat Oregon. They beat Indiana. Look, these undefeated teams, they don't really have much to play for because Ohio State, I had them losing to Michigan. I've got Indiana losing, but it's like, does it really matter? They're still going to get a bye, I presume. We're going to find out, but they're still going to get a bye. I think I'm going to go BYU. I'm going to go BYU, although I think both those teams kind of suck. Georgia at Alabama. Look, you can't take Alabama out. If they're a 3-loss SEC championship team, you can't take them out of the playoffs. I do think they'll win regardless, though. Georgia doesn't have all that much to play for. They're playing for a bye, but at the end of the day, they can use this as a bye. I think Tulane wins. I have never seen JVST play. I'm going to go with Kent. We'll go with Buffalo. The game doesn't really matter. And we'll go JMU, and then we'll go with UNLV. And then we'll go with Navy. And how do we get to how do we get to the final games? I want to see this doesn't make any sense. How do we predict the playoffs? Is it really not going to let us predict the playoffs? Huh. Maybe there's one game we didn't predict here. Complete league and champion. We did. We did complete league and championship. Did we not? Okay. Okay, I don't know why I had to click that again. Regardless, this doesn't even change the playoff seeding, so we're not going to worry about that. So here are the playoff teams. As I mentioned, I did not predict the playoffs. As you can see, I had trouble even getting to the playoffs. Nonetheless, these are teams that made it. JMU is kind of that weird 5 seed that nobody really thinks deserves it. But luckily, they get to play SMU. So that's a ridiculous game to have SMU playing And the fact that SMU is probably going to be favored in this game is crazy. And Ohio State's playing. I'll take Ohio State. I think A&M wins. These are two teams that are vying for the 1-2. I don't really think there's much sense of urgency with either of these two teams. And we'll take Georgia. I guess I'll go JMU. Now, I have no clue why USC. I've got USC with 2 losses. I have no clue why they're the 1 seed. As I mentioned, I didn't predict any of this. We're going to go Georgia, Indiana, Texas A&M, Ohio State. And we will go Indiana, Ohio State, and we'll go Indiana. We'll give Indiana the win.